Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on The HREBA Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Hey, I'm Leticia. I've been a realtor for 15 years, and we bring you information from the experts.
And I'm Sal. I'm the co-host. I'm a loan officer for the past 20 plus years.
And we're with the HREBA Show, homeownership, hear it from the experts.
And here on the HREBA Show, we bring experts in their respective field to give you information as to the home buying process, if you're sustaining your home or if you're looking to sell your home.
Covering all the industry, lenders, realtors, title company, escrow officers, insurance agents, all volunteering their time to bring you information that you can use. Our guests are experts when it comes to home ownership, whether you're buying for the first time or whether you're maintaining or sustaining the home you currently have.
Or selling.
Home ownership, hear it from the experts in the Blue Stream.
Jump in.
Programming for The HREBA Show is proudly underwritten in part by the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, contributing to a thriving Arlington, and in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on The HREBA Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Hello there. You're listening to the HREBA Show. Welcome to the show. My name's Leticia Gallegos. I'm president and CEO of the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association. Co-hosting with me through Skype is my co-host. Are you there, Sal?
Sal Villalobos. How are you doing, everyone?
Okay, so normally we're coming to you live through Skype on this program, but normally we're in the studios at Fishbowl Radio Network at Globe Life Park, Arlington, Texas, the American Dream City, and so we're here today. Our subject today is Fair Housing Month. April, Sal, is Fair Housing Month.
What does that mean, Leticia? What is?
Well, we have an expert. That's a good question. And we have an expert that's going to come on. His name, our guest today, will be coming on shortly. His name is Fernando Guajardo. He's the Business Development Officer for the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, which the acronym is TDHCA. So for you listener, you need to stay tuned because TDHCA is a state agency and they've been around for many, many years. And I still kind of think that they're, best kept secret because they offer a lot of down payment assistance programs. And we'll get into all of that once Fernando comes on with us. But we're going to talk about Fair Housing Month, how important that is.
Bye, Leticia. Hello. Nope.
Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on The Reba Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Hey, I'm Leticia. I've been a realtor for 15 years, and we bring you information from the experts.
And I'm Sal. I'm the co-host. I'm a loan officer for the past 20 plus years.
And we're with the Reba Show, homeownership, hear it from the experts.
And here on the Reba Show, we bring experts in their respective field to give you information as to the home buying process, if you're sustaining your home or if you're looking to sell your home.
Covering all the industry, lenders, realtors, title company, escrow officers, insurance agents, all volunteering their time to bring you information that you can use. Our guests are experts when it comes to home ownership, whether you're buying for the first time or whether you're maintaining or sustaining the home you currently have.
Or selling.
Home ownership, hear it from the experts in the Blue Stream.
Jump in.
Programming for The Reba Show is proudly underwritten in part by the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, contributing to a thriving Arlington, and in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on The Reba Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Hey, I'm Leticia. I've been a realtor for 15 years, and we bring you information from the experts.
And I'm Sal. I'm the co-host. I'm a loan officer for the past 20 plus years.
And we're with the Reba Show, homeownership, hear it from the experts.
And here on the Reba Show, we bring experts in their respective field to give you information as to the home buying process, if you're sustaining your home or if you're looking to sell your home.
Covering all the industry, lenders, realtors, title company, escrow officers, insurance agents, all volunteering their time to bring you information that you can use. Our guests are experts when it comes to home ownership, whether you're buying for the first time or whether you're maintaining or sustaining the home you currently have.
Or selling.
Home ownership, hear it from the experts in the Blue Stream.
Jump in.
Programming for The Reba Show is proudly underwritten in part by the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, contributing to a thriving Arlington, and in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on The Reba Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Hey, I'm Leticia. I've been a realtor for 15 years, and we bring you information from the experts.
And I'm Sal. I'm the co-host. I'm a loan officer for the past 20 plus years.
And we're with the Reba Show, homeownership, hear it from the experts.
And here on the Reba Show, we bring experts in their respective field to give you information as to the home buying process, if you're sustaining your home or if you're looking to sell your home.
covering all the industry: lenders, realtors, title company, escrow officers, insurance agents, all volunteering their time to bring you information that you can use. Our guests are experts when it comes to home ownership, whether you're buying for the first time or whether you're maintaining or sustaining the home you currently have.
Or selling.
Home ownership, hear it from the experts in the Blue Stream.
Jump in.
Programming for The Reba Show is proudly underwritten in part by the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, contributing to a thriving Arlington, and in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on The Reba Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Hey, I'm Leticia. I've been a realtor for 15 years, and we bring you information from the experts.
And I'm Sal. I'm the co-host. I'm a loan officer for the past 20 plus years.
And we're with the Reba Show. Homeownership, hear it from the experts.
And here on the Reba Show, we bring experts in their respective field to give you information as to the home buying process, if you're sustaining your home or if you're looking to sell your home.
Covering all the industry: lenders, realtors, title company, escrow officers, insurance agents, all volunteering their time to bring you information that you can use. Our guests are experts when it comes to home ownership, whether you're buying for the first time or whether you're maintaining or sustaining the home you currently have.
Or selling.
Home ownership, hear it from the experts in the Blue Stream.
Jump in.
Programming for The Reba Show is proudly underwritten in part by the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, contributing to a thriving Arlington, and in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on The Reba Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Hey, I'm Leticia. I've been a realtor for 15 years, and we bring you information from the experts.
And I'm Sal. I'm the co-host. I'm a loan officer for the past 20 plus years.
And we're with the Reba Show. Homeownership, hear it from the experts.
And here on the Reba Show, we bring experts in their respective field to give you information as to the home buying process, if you're sustaining your home or if you're looking to sell your home.
Covering all the industry: lenders, realtors, title company, escrow officers, insurance agents, all volunteering their time to bring you information that you can use. Our guests are experts when it comes to home ownership, whether you're buying for the first time or whether you're maintaining or sustaining the home you currently have.
Or selling.
Home ownership, hear it from the experts in the Blue Stream.
Jump in.
Programming for The Reba Show is proudly underwritten in part by the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, contributing to a thriving Arlington, and in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on The Reba Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Hey, I'm Leticia. I've been a realtor for 15 years, and we bring you information from the experts.
And I'm Sal. I'm the co-host. I'm a loan officer for the past 20 plus years.
And we're with the Reba Show, homeownership, hear it from the experts.
And here on the Reba Show, we bring experts in their respective field to give you information as to the home buying process, if you're sustaining your home or if you're looking to sell your home.
Covering all the industry, lenders, realtors, title companies.
Hello, you're listening to the Reba Show, home ownership, hear it from the experts, live through Skype because we are not able to go into the studios. Today is April 14, 2020. We're in the midst of a global pandemic. Normally I wouldn't say the date on this show, but because of that, that's where we're at. So normally we would be live in our studios at Globe Life Park, Arlington, Texas, the American Dream City. But we have to do what we have to do. My name's Leticia Gallegos. I'm president and CEO of the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association, REBA. Co-hosting with me today, Salvador
Villalobos.
Salvador Villalobos. Thank you, Sal, for being on. And today we have a special guest. We have Fernando Guajardo. And Fernando is the Business Development Officer for the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, acronym is TDHCA. So welcome to the show, Fernando. Thanks you for being here.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. Happy to be here.
All right. Well, you're going to have some great information for us, and we're excited to hear about that. To our listeners, April is Fair Housing Month. And so we're going to bring you information that you can use. Now, our show is the Reba Show, home ownership, hear it from the experts. And we try to bring you expert information, whether you're purchasing a new home or sustaining the home you currently have. And in the future, stay tuned with us because we're going to bring you more and more information as we go through everything that's going on in the world right now, but especially in the United States with the CARES Act that the government has instituted. So we'll be bringing you more expert advice as we go along. But Fernando, today, thanks again for being here with us. So other than being the Business Development Officer, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So a native of South Texas. I grew up in the Valley. I moved away when I was 14. I ended up in the East Coast. So I was one of a handful of Latinos. So it was a very interesting way to grow up there. So I joined the military at 18. I went in the Air Force. That was fun. I did that for about 9 years. And then I joined the corporate world, then state government. I was an entrepreneur, did that for some time. And I'm back home. So here I am.
All right. So TDHCA is located in Austin. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So that's where the agency is in Austin. And so you're a Valley guy. Well, you left pretty early. I'm also from the Valley, but I left some later.
But, when you're from the Valley, you can't, you ain't gonna, you don't change. So
That explains it.
Well, for you listeners that don't know where the Valley is, it's South Texas. They call it the Valley, the tip of Texas down in the South. So that's where we're from. And so let's start off just a little bit about fair housing. Let's do Fair Housing 101 because, what is the Fair Housing Act and who does it protect? So we have in real estate, we have rules and we have laws because we can't discriminate. Right, Fernando?
Yes, ma'am. Fair housing is not an option, and I'm looking right at the website. You know,
Yeah,
it's the law.
exactly. And it's been implemented for years. It's been in the books for many years. Actually, since 1968, right?
I would be guessing, but I can tell you right now, I'm looking at the protected classes. And the law identifies 7 protected classes. And the first one is race. The other one mentions color, national origin, disability, religion, sex, and familial status.
That's right. And Sal, you in lending, you being a lender, mortgage lender, I mean, we all have to abide by this law, correct?
Yeah. We definitely have to abide by the law. There's certain questions that we're not allowed to ask. There are questions we do ask regarding gender, race, national origin. We even gotten to the even more granular than that. But that's the law. We can't bypass it. It doesn't matter if it's visual. You still have to ask the client certain questions, because if they're entitled to it, they're going to get it. Right? So. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so during this time that we are in right now, there's a lot that, I mean, so the CARES Act has a lot of benefits in it for whether you're paying your mortgage, right, or whether you're renting. So it gives some benefits during this process, but the fair housing, the act, there's no discrimination. You still can't. I mean, the law is the law, and regardless of what is in the act, the benefits and all that, landlords, mortgage brokers, and all that, they still have to abide by that law. So I wanted to just briefly talk about that in the beginning of the show, because it's really important to understand that. So, Fernando, tell us a little bit. I mean, how long have you been with TDHCA?
I've been with TDHCA since October of last year. But I've also I've been in the housing arena for quite some time. Through our earlier conversation, I mentioned that I've been connected through the business, through having dealt in housing construction myself, and having rented properties before, so I'm very familiar with it. And also I was the CRA officer at Discover Bank for some time. And CRA, basically the federal government states that banks have to abide by this law, and this law covers fair lending, fair housing, everything that's related to it. So if I could just add to what you're saying, if you feel discriminated against, that's the biggest piece of the law, and if so, you should seek legal advice. There is an agency out there in the state of Texas that handles this. Let me just grab my notes real quick.
So we're talking right now about fair housing. Today, April is the Fair Housing Month, and we're talking to Fernando Guajardo. He's the Business Development Officer for the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. So go ahead, Fernando.
The Texas Workforce Commission is a state agency that enforces the Fair Housing Act. They've been tasked to do that by the state of Texas. And also, the act has been in place for over 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as long as I've been born. So, question: How would they contact the department if they needed to make a complaint?
That's a very good question.
It's the Texas Workforce Commission, you said, Fernando?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Actually, I didn't know that. And we've all heard during this crisis how overworked the Texas Workforce Commission is. And so I can only imagine.
Isn't that a song?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So tell us about your duties at TDHCA. So you've been there since October, and you're in business development, so that's great. But tell us a little bit about your website that you're working on, because, I mean, you have a good website right now. The Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs has a very informative website. So tell us a little bit about what is coming on the new website and when you plan to launch it.
Thank you very much. I have somebody else on the other line that's feeding me information as I speak to you. So some of the questions that I can't answer before the show's over, I'll get them to you.
Okay.
The one that's all asked about how to contact someone.
Sure.
So let me back up a little bit. There was already a plan in place to rebrand the homeownership department. If I'm going to give you a lot of information because I think it's important to understand why is it that we're doing some of the things that we're involved with. And we're a housing finance agency. So we handle that responsibility for a department. The TDHCA as a whole is a mammoth organization. But if you slice that up into pieces, the forerunner of that is a housing financing agency arm. We basically have been given the authority by state legislation to deal in housing finance represented in the state of Texas. So there's a group called the NCSHA out of DC that all the states belong to, and we meet throughout the year, and we also have our calls basically to find out, what ideas are brewing, what's working in your state and what's not. And it helps us stay in the forefront of our business. So like I said, the rebranding was already started to take place. I come in with some marketing background. So I say, well, we're going to do this. Let's go ahead and just blow it out of the water. So in order to do that, how can we go ahead and make it as simple as possible? One thing that caught my attention when I saw Sal's profile, hablo español, So that right there opens up your market quite a bit. So let's not be blind. Texas has a very huge Hispanic population, and a lot of the population does not speak English. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle it is, that is reality. And from the perspective of business, and business as efficient as it is, you want to be able to reach your end consumer. It just makes sense, right? So government has to be very responsive to that. So in doing that, you can't just simply rely on Google Translate to go ahead and take your website and put it in Spanish, right? It's going to do a horrible job. So, but before we get into that, let me tell you first, it's like, okay, so from the rebranding perspective, first of all, you mentioned our website is very informative, and I appreciate you saying that. It's very nice, but it's confusing. It's not user-friendly. And also the Joe Blows of the world, well, let's call them, I don't know, Jose, they're not going to be able to navigate through it. And they're not going to be able to get the information they need. So in doing the architecture piece, the engineering of this website had to go ahead and be brought down to a very, very basic level. So how can I go ahead and serve the college graduate professionals who may be applying for our product, but at the same time be able to meet the needs of Jose? So what language am I going to use that is not going to be intimidating from the cultural perspective? And I just say Spanish because it just makes sense, right? But at the same time, if somebody has a limited language proficiency, they should be able to, through the simplification of the process, be able to get what they need. So I've looked at it from the consumer perspective, but then we go into who our business partners are: lenders, so mortgage companies, realtors like yourselves. So when you come to our website, there's specific information that you need. And time is of the essence, right? So if you come to us, you want to be able to what you need and getting it out. And if you want to learn about our program, I got to be able to get you that information. I have to do it fast, and I have to do it aesthetically pleasing as well. I don't want to bore you. I want to. I want to make. I want your user journey to be exciting. If I don't do that, then I'm not doing my job.
All right.
Yeah.
And as I was doing my research, I think you're doing a great job now. I know that every website can always be better, but I mean, I was able to get a lot of information at my fingertips, so it's great. It's great. But I understand where you're coming from.
You're in the profession, and that it makes sense. You know what you're looking for, but there's also newbies,
Right.
So I need to be able to hold their hand, and I don't want them to get frustrated because they couldn't get what they needed.
Absolutely. Sounds like you have a great plan, and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to learning more about it and sharing it, because that's another thing, that we as professionals need to share that information as well. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue to talk to Fernando. He's going to continue to give us some great information. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll catch you on the other side of the break.
Great. I have the number.
Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on The Reba Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Hey, I'm Leticia. I've been a realtor for 15 years, and we bring you information from the experts.
And I'm Sal. I'm the co-host. I'm a loan officer for the past 20 plus years.
And we're with the Reba Show, homeownership, hear it from the experts.
And here on the Reba Show, we bring experts in their respective field to give you information as to the home buying process, if you're sustaining your home or if you're looking to sell your home.
Covering all the industry, lenders, realtors, title company, escrow officers, insurance agents, all volunteering their time to bring you information that you can use. Our guests are experts when it comes to home ownership, whether you're buying for the first time or whether you're maintaining or sustaining the home you currently have.
Or selling.
Home ownership, hear it from the experts in the Blue Stream.
Jump in.
Programming for The Reba Show is proudly underwritten in part by the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, contributing to a thriving Arlington, and in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on The Reba Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Hey, I'm Leticia. I've been a realtor for 15 years, and we bring you information from the experts.
And I'm Sal. I'm the co-host. I'm a loan officer for the past 20 plus years.
And we're with the Reba Show, homeownership, hear it from the experts.
And here on the Reba Show, we bring experts in their respective field to give you information as to the home buying process, if you're sustaining your home or if you're looking to sell your home.
Covering all the industry, lenders, realtors, title company, escrow officers, insurance agents, all volunteering their time to bring you information that you can use. Our guests are experts when it comes to home ownership, whether you're buying for the first time or whether you're maintaining or sustaining the home you currently have.
Or selling.
Home ownership, hear it from the experts in the Blue Stream.
Jump in.
Programming for The Reba Show is proudly underwritten in part by the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, contributing to a thriving Arlington, and in part by the Texas Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Foundation. Funding is also provided by generous donations from listeners like you.
Hello, you're listening to The Reba Show, Homeownership, Hear It from the Experts. And my name is Leticia Gallegos, President and CEO of the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association. My co-host today, Salvador Villalobos, is on with us. We're coming to you through Skype because we can't be together in the studio. Normally, we are at Fishbowl Radio Network at Globe Life Park, Arlington, Texas. And our special guest today, Fernando Guajardo, Business Development Officer for Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, the Home Ownership Division. So thank you, Fernando, again for being here. Before we went on break, we were talking about the Fair Housing Act. And Sal, you asked him a question about who to contact, right?
Yes. Who would you contact, Fernando, if somebody wants to put a complaint?
Yeah, Civil Rights Division from the Texas Workforce Commission. I have a number for you. It's 888-452-4778. Again, the Civil Rights Division of the Texas Workforce Commission is the one that handles this. And the number again is 888-452-4778.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. And we'll be happy to put that on our website as well to share that information.
Yeah.
So, all right, great. So like I've mentioned before, the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs has a lot of great programs for home buyers. They have, we talked about, before the break, we talked about your new website. I'm really excited to have that come out, and so we can use it as professionals as well as home buyers. So tell me a little bit, you have a lot of programs, and I'm sure, it's hard to keep track of all of them, but let's start with the Texas Home Buyer University. Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the idea was started where we wanted a place that people can go, and you can go ahead and sign up and take a course that briefly describes the program. Okay, so when you go through that, it's a requirement for our program that you get certificates. So once you go online, you read some information, and then a certificate is printed out saying that you went through it. You take it to your loan officer, says, "Hey, I met the requirements that I attended. I received some form of counseling." Again, this was developed before my time, but the idea is that we, the state of Texas, offered something. There are different. It's free. Okay, there are organizations out there that offer one-on-one or group classes, and they take it from the whole process of, what is a mortgage? I mean, how basic do you need it? And they'll go ahead and I look at them as the people offering the housing counseling as comadres. As a matter of fact, we wanted to go ahead and tie that into our website and call it a Comadre Corner, where trusted source. It's funny to get your reaction from that, because it's something that I had to explain to folks, how that brings down the culture barrier. We talked earlier about being able to reach the population from different socioeconomic levels, especially when you have a culture or language. So the idea there is, again, that people have a place to go. It's offered in Spanish. But I do encourage anyone who's looking into this to seek out a housing counselor, an actual person you can talk to, because they'll do a complete assessment. As a loan officer, I'm sure, Sally, you don't want to go ahead and have somebody come to you and then they don't know, they don't know the basics, and you having to spend a lot of time with that, So why don't we prepare them before we send them to you? Because sometimes that preparation can take. It might just be a simple one-on-one. hey, you know what? You got the credit score. You seem like you got your stuff together. You've been saving for some time. I could, I can certainly get you. You can get into a loan, no problem. And then there's people that are like, what? And 9 times out of 10, it's more the issue of like, I don't know where to start.
Right.
So when we talk about breaking down and and simplifying the process, you have to be able to come up with a process and a system to support that process that is able to go ahead and take the person, regardless of what the situation might be, what their profile may be, and take them from there to here. So it's very easy to go ahead and get someone who's already has the right credit score, has the income to support it, and whose parents own a house. They know it's next logical steps to do that instead of renting. But you have somebody who they might be the first people who the first generation who's going to be buying a house. And
in some cases, they're going to their compadre or comadre to ask for the information of how to buy a house, and they're getting all this wrong information. So
well, they're going to the wrong source. But and I think that's where we come in as professionals in the industry. We got to make sure it's like, no, those are misnomers, and we have to provide a process. So the process is, you can go online, English and Spanish, read about it, learn about it. You want more? Let's go ahead and reach out to a housing counselor. Let's get you set up. So that's Home Buyer U.
Mm-hmm. All right. And so when you mentioned a minute ago about we'll get them ready and then we'll send them to you, you're talking about not specifically Sal. You're talking about your list of mortgage originators that do those have to be trained in any way to be on your preferred list?
Yes, absolutely. So we have a list of we call them participating lenders. These are people who have been trained. They have credentials to be able to go into the system, where they have access to be able to submit loans on behalf of the consumer. So we go through all the background to make sure these guys are legit. They have everything. So we monitor that. We as the state of Texas monitor that these guys are good to go. All right. Now, what we do with consumers is we give them the information. We have to educate the consumers on what the process is. When I tell you that, that's why we have Home Buyer U, but we have the relationship with housing counselors, and we also fund housing counseling throughout the state of Texas, where we go ahead and help these housing counselors, whether they're to receive the trainer. We're also very involved with realtors too. As a matter of fact, part of our program is making sure that we are getting our realtors the information they need, that they're not hearing it from the guy who's been here for some time and then hearing it from this other person over here. Well, I didn't know you guys were doing this. Well, I didn't know what you guys did. So we're really taking an approach. It's very simple. It's like, yes, what we do is this. We ask you, what's your credit score? All right. If you don't know your credit score or it's below 620, don't go talk to a lender. You need to go ahead and receive housing counseling first. Okay. You need to go ahead and make sure that your credit is in par. And once that's taken care of, then you go to the next step. But the credit score is going to go ahead and it's not going to get you anywhere. However, I tell you this, just because you have below a 620 doesn't mean that you can't get there. It just means that it's going to take you a little longer. And we're going to show you the way. And housing counselors are there to prepare you. That's their job. That's the only reason why they exist, is to go ahead and prepare people for home ownership.
That's right. So earlier I mentioned, Fernando, that you were in Austin. So when we talk about housing counselors, we're not talking about in Austin. They're all over the state of Texas, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. And so here in this Dallas-Fort Worth area, we have several certified housing counselors, and they're basically nonprofits. Just like we are, they're nonprofits. They don't charge you a cent counsel you, to sit down with you, and to educate you on the process, right?
Absolutely. That's what they've been set up to do. So when we developed the website, we're like, okay, the exercise really helped us to see what missing links were there. So we identified partners, realtors, housing counselors, lenders. Okay, so those are our partners. Now, if we do a good job, that means we're going to be able to have a database where we can communicate with you guys, tell you the latest and greatest. And they also need some form of certification. I told you about the lenders, what we do, make sure that everything's in par. With realtors, what we're going to do is we're going to go, we've developed a course, we're waiting for approval, where we will go ahead and actually award CE credit to people who, for realtors, who come and learn about our product. And we feel good that, okay, now you know, now go out there and tell the world. Okay. For housing counselors, we want to give them all support they need. And we want to go ahead, they're going to be a funnel for us to refer people to them that are coming in through our dynamic website, where they're going to say, well, I don't know my credit score, or it's below 620. And I'm not just going to say goodbye, see you later. I'm going to say, no, here's a housing counselor. Because you entered where you live, I can tell you how close they are to you. Go talk to them. Now it's up to you to take that step. We can only do so much.
Now, Fernando, I'm a homeowner. I'm looking to buy a home. I don't know where to start. Somebody tells me to go to your website. I go there. I make an appointment. But before I make the appointment, I'm like, I wonder what the process is. Can you run us through what it would look like? I mean, are you budget? Are you planning budgets? Are you, what do they bring with them to get counseled?
So what the housing counselor is going to ask you, all right, is for you to you have an ID, and if they're going to want to go ahead and do an assessment of their financials, they're going to ask them for a bank statement. Okay. Bring me your last 3 most recent banks. I don't have a bank account. Well, we're going to start right there, right?
Right. That's good.
Okay. So they're going to be asked exploratory questions to be able to do an assessment exactly where you're at in the home buying process. You might be the person who's ready to rock, and all we needed to do is just the one-on-one for me to give you the confidence. And when I say me, it's the housing counsel. Okay. We just to be clear, we do program oversight. We don't sit down with people one-on-one. We don't do loans. We do program oversight. We've been charged by the state of Texas to be able to watch out for the best interest of the consumer by managing this program. So we got to make sure that the lenders are on par, make sure the realtors got the right information, got to make sure the housing counselors are ready to rock, so they're ready to help people. And we have to make it very basic for the consumer to be able to get from point A to point B. Now, the consumer comes and let's play one scenario. I have a credit score that's over 620. I have a decent income, meaning that my income, I meet thresholds. So we are a state agency. So, somebody who's making, let's say $200,000 a year, and they ain't going to qualify for a subsidized mortgage. Okay. So there are income limits. And all that information is on our website. You want to go ahead and get the details of that. I'm going to give you the website in front of the URL right now. It's myfirsttexashome.com. myfirsttexashome.com. If you like to read, that'd be a great source of information to tell you everything you need to know, each individual program. And there's also a number here. Here's the number. It's 800-792-1119. Again, 800-792-1119. Now, our website is slated to come in June. This is where I told you about the journey, about all that. So the website you're going to right now is nothing as I just described. Okay. But if you like to read, you'll find everything you need to know there.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely worked for several years, and it's not, that's why I say I'm really excited to see what the new one's going to look like. So that's great. So Sal, do you have any specific questions? like Fernando said, you're an oversight. I want to take this opportunity to just give a shout out to our local housing counseling agency, our nonprofit here in the Tarrant County area of Texas, Housing Channel. And you can reach Housing Channel at housingchannel.org. And the staff there is incredible. They have training classes, right now they're doing them online, and but they also have live classes when we get back to normal. And they have houses that they have rehabbed and are ready for sale. They have down payment assistance programs to be able to purchase those homes for first-time home buyers. Some you don't even have to be a first-time home buyer. So
a little birdie told me that some of the homes in their new development no longer has to stay under the 80% AMI to qualify for those well-priced homes. So some great things are coming, helping the community into home ownership. That's fantastic.
Yes, they do great work. They've been in this area, Fernando, for over 25 years. And all of my real estate career, the 15 years that I've been a realtor, I've used them just so much. They've helped so many home buyers get into their homes with their assistance. So I believe, and that's why you're on the program, because I believe in what you do. I believe in what TDHCA does. And I think our audience needs to hear about the programs that you offer. So let's see.
Could I mention one of the biggest misnomers that's out there about home ownership?
Sure.
From where I stand, one of the biggest obstacles that people find to home ownership is having money for down payment and settlement assistance. People think that they need about $15,000, $20,000 to be able to get into. They think 20%. They think 10%. I mean, it's crazy. It's out there. And Sal, you mentioned down payment or DPA. It's definitely a program that we offer anywhere between 2 to 5% of the loan amount, and that also includes a very attractive interest rate for the total mortgage. So again, the DPA is basically helps you with your down payment settlement assistance. And then on top of that, you have a mortgage. That DPA comes in the form of a second loan, which means you don't have to pay it back until the first one's paid. So it's basically free money. Now, don't think that you don't have to pay it back. You have to pay it back. If you refinance, you have to pay it back. We've got to be able, the state of Texas, we have to be careful because we're managing the public money. So that money has to be paid back. If you refinance your house, that means we helped you get into ownership. You got a little equity out of it. But pay us back the money so we can help somebody else.
Right. No, that's great.
Okay. So we got you. Again, the idea is that we were able to get people over the obstacle of that misbelief, that idea that, oh no, I'm going to be a renter for the rest of my life. I can't do it. Yes, you can. I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. It's a very, very simple process. You do have to meet some basic requirements. If you don't know about them, there is plenty of help out there to help you get there. So I encourage your listeners to please, you can. Yes, it's very possible. It's very possible. So it's up to you now.
All right. So you've been listening to Fernando Guajardo, Business Development Officer at the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, the Homeownership Division. And we're almost out of time, Fernando, but what I wanted, right now you mentioned, we've got this program and this, and what you mean by that is those are programs that are available to home buyers through their lender, correct?
Absolutely. That's why we call them participating lenders. That means we train the lenders on what our products are. And I will tell you another thing too, is not all lenders are created equal. All right. So that means that as a consumer, you have to do your homework. Just because we put a lender on our website doesn't mean that the lender is necessarily going to give you what you may be best qualified for. I said it, okay? Because the lender sometimes will go ahead and look at their bottom line and say, well, you know what? I make more if I put you under this other program.
Well, hopefully there's not a lot of those around, but absolutely, that's definitely.
We're here to go ahead and inform the consumer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if there's one, consumers should be aware. That means go in there prepared, do your homework, ask for the product, ask for TDHCA product, ask, am I getting the best deal? Don't sign on the dotted line. Don't go to the next step until you're ready to rock. This is your loan. You're responsible for it, not me, not you. The consumer is.
So under your programs, I know there's certain down payment assistance programs that there's minimum guideline requirements, but then the individual lenders may add overlays or internal corporate policies that one lender may not have.
That's very true, Sal. That's very true. So we do not add any overlays. Our job is to make sure that mortgage can be bought by our investor. The investor says, well, whatever the program requirements for it to be sold need to be met. So we have to go and at the end of the day, we depend on the lenders. They are a partner, but our job is to watch out for the consumer.
We all have a fiduciary responsibility to our consumer, right? So.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we all do, and especially this organization, the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association. That's what we're all about, and that's why we invited you to be on the show today, because we know that you have some great programs, great information. And so, listener, if you're interested in learning more about these programs, do go to your trusted lender, the person that's been guiding you so far, and ask them about these programs and see if you qualify for them, because some of them do have qualification criteria. And so it's really, really important that you communicate. And you're right, Fernando, not a lot of lenders know the program, but that's why we're here to educate them as well. And that's what we do in our mission as well. So any closing comments, Fernando, that you want to share?
Absolutely. So our website is, we're launching it, God willing, in June 1. So that would be something that we want to go ahead and make a big to-do about.
Yeah.
We don't know what the business is going to look like once this is all over, but assuming that things go back to normal, I'd like to come over and talk to you guys on a one-on-one and seeing how we can best keep getting the word out through your network, and at the same time taking in feedback from our like Sal mentioned, our responsibility as being able to or having to watch out for the consumer. We have to be in the forefront. We're not the forefront. We're not effective. So it's important for us to go ahead and have these type of discussions, to watch the market, to figure out where the market's going and react to it in a way that makes sense for everyone involved.
And that's a question I have for you, Fernando. Is there going to be any interruption under these programs given this where we're at right now?
That's a wonderful question. Okay. The idea right now, I'll go ahead and share this with you. Okay. There's been rumors about, credit scores need to go from 620 to 680. We're talking about overlays, but it's very important that is the lender who's doing that, not us. Okay, because our peeps what I mean is the idea is for us to be able to make sure that we're readily available, we're ready to go And if anything changes, we need to go ahead and let you guys know right away. But right now, nothing has changed it.
So right now, the
there are no program changes. Everything's good. Let's make it very clear. Until you hear from us, everything stays the same.
Okay.
And everything is staying the same, is what you're saying. If there's any changes, it's with the lending institution.
Well, from what I hear, we get phone calls.
Mhm.
People.
Oh, yeah.
But again, I mean, right now I'm telling you, it's April 14th. My boss hasn't said anything about changes. We're watching the market. We're remember our primary focus is the end consumer, but at the same time we have a responsibility to make sure that we protect the business of the state of Texas. So
the question is then a little bit further then, if there is you have 5 different banks, they have 5 different, they all have the same program, but they all have different requirements, additional requirements, which are the overlays, right?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is if you set forth in one of your programs a credit score of 620, hypothetically, then 620 should be across the board between the 5 different lenders, but that lender, based on their individual requirements for that institution, they may increase that score to 640 or 660, but then it has to be across the board within that one lender, not necessarily through the 5 lenders, but just that one lender may have that.
Well, yes, correct, but it's a little bit more complicated than that, in the sense of from what my understanding is that all the loans go into a pool. All right. So if I'm a lender and I have a pool of loans, okay, that go to this investor might go ahead and say, I want a higher credit score because my risk just increased.
Right.
We have our own investor, and we work with our investor. And as of now, that credit score stays.
Good to know.
All right.
So heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. It stays.
Boom, right there.
Until you hear it otherwise.
Yeah.
That's right. And so, okay, so we've been, I have before we end, Fernando, I want to ask you a personal question. Tell us what home ownership, what does home ownership mean to you personally?
Oh my God, that is a very, very personal question. And I'll tell you why. Growing up in the Valley, we did not own our own home. So I was one of those guys that became the first homeowner in my family.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I also pulled money from my home to start a business in the form of an equity line of credit. And that's what launched my entrepreneurship. And that's why I was able to go ahead and grab those skills. And I can go ahead and talk to you about some of these things that may not make a lot of sense to a lot of people. So we have to figure out a way to break it down, So it's very near and dear to my heart. I know what homeownership does for a family. I know what it does for kids. I know I know that it creates wealth over time. And I know that you can borrow against it if you have a dream of doing something else. So yeah, that's what it means to me. So, I mean, for me to sit here and talk to you on the radio is because I love what I do.
Yes, and so do we, don't we, Sal?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, we do this because we care, because we love to educate. And so the HREBA show is here. It was brought together so we could inform and we could serve you, the listener, with our expertise and our expert guests. We bring you information about home ownership, whether you're preparing to purchase or sustaining the one you currently have. And so we also help you become more financially prepared through our curriculum that we offer. So our hope is that you will engage with us, listener, here at the HREBA Show and become a loyal fan of the HREBA Show. So please make a note to listen every Tuesday at 2. here at fbrn.us. So we've been talking to Fernando Guajardo with TDHCA. And thank you so much, Fernando, for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you. We appreciate that. So Sal, thank you for being here. Well, let's do this again next week. How about that?
Okay, I'll be here. I ain't going anywhere.
Okay, so
for sure.
Okay, so we're the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association, a registered 501c3 nonprofit corporation. If you have any specific questions or comments about our show today, you may email us, rebashow@rebaconnect.org, and that's spelled HREBA show@HREBAconnect.org. Again, my name's Leticia Gallegos, President and CEO of the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association. My co-host, Salvador Villalobos. Thank you for listening, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Fernando.
You got it. My pleasure.
Hey, this is Leticia.
And this is Matt. Catch us on The Reba Show every Tuesday from 2 to 3.
On our show, you'll be able to hear from the experts, everything about home ownership. Tune in on Tuesdays at 2 on the Blue Stream.
On FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.